Construction through destruction, making sedimentary rocks. Destructive geologic processes produce the material for sedimentary rocks. Powered by the sun, destructive geologic processes operate on or very near Earth's surface, causing rock to weaken and break down, resulting in wearing down the landforms on Earth's surface and the production of sediment. In this way, the making of a sedimentary rock could be thought of as a 5-step process. Step 1, weathering, or the breakdown of rock. This happens principally through mechanical weathering, which is the physical breakdown of rock, essentially taking something big, a landform made of rock, and breaking it down into smaller pieces, which we call grains or sediment. An example of mechanical weathering is frost wedging. This happens where water within cracks of rocks freezes and expands, expanding or wedging the crack open. The photograph shows how water expands when changing from a liquid to a solid. Perhaps you've noticed this yourself. If you make ice in your freezer, you put the water in, and the ice cubes are larger or take up more volume than the initial amount of water that you used. Or if you've put a beverage in the freezer and forgotten about it, only to find that it's frozen and the cap has been forced off or the container is cracked open. This is because the water is freezing and expanding. Chemical weathering involves chemical reactions which dissolve or alter minerals in rock, causing the rock to become weaker, facilitating its breakdown. An example of this would be dissolution. This is where acidic water dissolves minerals in rock. The photo shows a limestone statue that's being dissolved by acid rain. Limestone is a common sedimentary rock that is composed of the mineral calcite. Calcite is susceptible to dissolution with acidic water. Step 2, mass wasting. Mass wasting is when gravity pulls weathered rock downhill, producing sediment. This video here shows an example of a mass wasting event called the rock slide. The rock of the cliff is already weathered and weakened, so gravity can pull it downhill. This is a destructive process where we are removing rock and sediment is produced as a consequence of this. Step 3, erosion. This is when sediment is removed and transported. Erosion is most importantly done by streams. As sediment is transported, it is further broken down and landforms are worn down by the erosive action of the stream as it flows over the landscape. This is the primary way in which valleys are made. Photographs are 2 examples of valleys, one being a narrow V-shaped valley, the other being a wide valley containing a meandering river. Eventually, a stream slows or ends and sediment is deposited. The YouTube video here, shows sediment being deposited as a stream enters the ocean. You'll notice the heaviest, coarsest sediment is deposited first. Then as the stream flows further out into the ocean, it slows and eventually stops. And there the finest sediment is deposited. Step 4, deposition, or the dropping off of sediment. So as just shown in the video, as a stream slows, sediment will fall out or be deposited out of the water. The same thing happens by wind, which slows down and deposits sediment, or glaciers, which melt and deposit the sediment they are carrying. This deposition leads to step 5, lithification, or the transformation of sediment into rock. Lithification happens through 2 processes: compaction and cementation make clastic sedimentary rocks. Clastic sedimentary rocks are composed of clasts, which are fragments of minerals and rocks, and typically show stratification or layering. The second process, precipitation, creates chemical sedimentary rocks. Chemical sedimentary rocks are not made of rock and mineral fragments, but instead are made of minerals that crystallize or precipitate out of water, as is demonstrated in this YouTube video. Here, substances are being added or mixed together, and the result is precipitation. So 2 liquids resulting in a solid. Precipitation can make the shells of marine organisms, which can be preserved in rock as fossils. The geographic location where a sedimentary rock forms is its depositional environment. The illustration shows common depositional environments, from terrestrial environments on land, on the left side of the illustration. Then over to the right, we see marine depositional environments. In all cases, sedimentary rocks form on the Earth's surface, sometimes on land, sometimes in the ocean. Sedimentary rocks form through both destructive and constructive geologic processes. Destructive processes produce and transport the sediment to places where sediment is transformed into rock, which is a constructive process.